I'm sorry?
I said get out of my house!
I work here.
Not anymore. You think you're different from the others?
I don't think about the others.
You should. 9 maids came before you.
And maybe they left because of you.
Then you should be afraid.
I've been afraid before.
Tomorrow morning, I don't want to see you here.
I'll be here.
You'll regret staying.
Maybe, but I'm not leaving.
Nia Carter stood outside the Kang estate with one suitcase, a folder of documents, and exactly enough money left to survive for 6 weeks. The gates opened slowly. She stepped inside. The mansion was larger than any house she had ever entered, but she barely noticed it. She needed the job. That was all that mattered. A housekeeper met her at the entrance. "You're Nia?" "Yes. I'm Mrs. Han. Nice to meet you." Mrs. Han looked her over carefully. "You were told about the young master?" Nia nodded. "He doesn't like staff, I was told. He doesn't like people. I was also told that." Mrs. Han sighed. "He has made 9 maids quit." "I'm not planning to quit." Mrs. Han looked surprised. "You haven't met him yet." Nia gave a small smile. "Then I suppose we'll see." A voice came from the staircase. "You're the new one?" Nia turned. Taywan stood above them. Black shirt, expensive watch, cold expression. He looked at her suitcase, then at her face, then back at the suitcase. "How long?" Nia frowned. "How long what?" "Until you leave." "I don't know. Most last less than a week. Then I'll try to beat the record." Mrs. Han's eyes widened. Tae-won slowly walked down the stairs. "You think you're funny?" "No." "Then don't joke with me." "I wasn't joking." He stopped in front of her. "You're the first black maid this house has ever hired." Nia felt the insult hidden beneath his words. She didn't react. And I don't know how long you'll last." "I've already been told that." "Good." He walked past her, then stopped. "One more thing." Nia turned. "Don't enter my study." "Okay." "Don't touch my things." "Okay." "Don't speak to me unless I speak to you." Nia nodded. "Anything else?" He looked at her. "Yes." "What?" "Don't mistake my father's kindness for permission to become comfortable here." Then he walked away. Mrs. Han waited until he disappeared. "You shouldn't provoke him." "I didn't." "You answered him." "I was answering questions." Mrs. Han shook her head. "Just be careful." Nia looked toward the staircase. "I will." She didn't tell Mrs. Han why she couldn't afford to be careful enough to quit. Her mother had been sick for months. The bills were growing. The small apartment she rented was already 2 weeks behind. This job wasn't about luxury. It was survival. And she had promised herself that she would keep it, even if the man who owned half the house tried to make her leave. The first week was worse than she expected. Tae-won deliberately left food scattered across the dining room after she cleaned it. He spilled coffee on freshly washed floors. He rang the service bell repeatedly just to make her walk upstairs, and then told her he didn't need anything. Once he called her into the library. "Clean this." Nia looked around. "It already is." "I said clean it." She cleaned it. When she finished, he walked behind her and dropped a stack of papers onto the floor. "You missed something." She stared at him. "What?" "The floor." The floor was clean. Now it's dirty." She understood. He wanted her angry. She picked up the papers. "Yes, sir." His expression tightened. "That's it? What else should I say?" "Nothing." "Then I'll finish." She walked away. He watched her leave. That night, he couldn't understand why she hadn't reacted. The next morning, he tried again. He poured a glass of water onto the kitchen counter after she had finished cleaning it. Nia looked at the water, then at him. "Do you need something?" "No." "Then why did you do that?" "Because I can." She grabbed a cloth. "You're right." She wiped the counter. "It's your house." He frowned. "You're not angry?" "I am." "Then show it." Nia stopped wiping. "Why?" He didn't answer. She looked at him. "You keep trying to make me angry." "No, I don't." "You do. And I think you're disappointed because it's not working." For a moment, something flashed across his face. Pain. It disappeared almost immediately. "You know nothing about me." "I didn't say I did." "Then stop pretending you understand." "I don't." She returned to cleaning. "But I know you're unhappy." His jaw tightened. "Don't." "I wasn't insulting you. Just don't." He walked away. Nia watched him go. That was the first time she realized his cruelty wasn't empty. There was something underneath it, something wounded. But she wasn't going to excuse him because he was hurting. 3 days later, she heard shouting from upstairs. "I'm not going!" Tae-won. Nia looked up. Another voice answered. His father. "You're going." "No. You've missed 3 meetings." "I don't care." "You will care when you understand what responsibility means." "I don't need your lectures." Nia continued working. Then a loud crash came from the study. She instinctively moved toward the stairs. "Mrs. Han grabbed her arm. "Don't." "But his father can handle him." Nia stopped. From upstairs came silence. Then Tae-won's voice. "You're never here when I need you." Nia heard the words clearly. His father didn't answer. A door slammed. Later that evening, Nia found Tae-won sitting alone in the garden. She was carrying laundry. He looked at her. "Why are you staring?" "I'm not." "You are." "I was looking at the clothes." He looked away. She continued walking. Then he spoke. "My mother used to sit there." Nia stopped. She turned. Tae-won didn't look at her. "She died when I was 14. Nia said nothing. "My father was never home after that." His voice was quieter now. "He paid for everything. School, cars, this house, everything." He laughed bitterly. "Except the one thing I wanted." Nia waited. "What?" "A father." She didn't know what to say. So she simply said, "I'm sorry." He looked at her. "You don't have to be." "I know." "Then why say it?" "Because I mean it." He stared at her for several seconds. Then he looked away. "Go." She nodded. But as she walked away, she knew something had changed. Not enough. Not yet. Because the next morning, Tae-won was crueler than ever. He knocked a tray from her hands. He embarrassed her in front of 2 of his friends. One of them laughed. "She's still here?" Taywan looked at Nia. Apparently, Nia picked up the fallen items. One of his friends whispered, "How much are you paying her?" Tae-won smiled. "Not enough." Nia heard it. She said nothing. But that night she cried quietly in her room. Not because of Tae-won. Because she was exhausted. Because she missed her mother. Because she needed the money. And because she was beginning to wonder how long dignity could survive in a house determined to test it. The next morning, she showed up for work anyway. Tae-won saw her. "You came back." "Yes." "Why?" Nia looked at him. "Because quitting would make you happy." He stared. She walked past him. For the first time, he didn't have an answer. And that was when his real battle with her began. Because Tae-won had spent years making people leave, Nia was the first person who refused. And somewhere deep inside him, he was terrified that she might be the first person he actually didn't want to lose. The next morning, Nia found Tae-won standing in the kitchen before anyone else had arrived. He was leaning against the counter with his arms folded. She stopped when she saw him. "You're early." "So are you." "I work here." "I know." She reached for the cleaning supplies. He didn't move. "You're not going to ask why I'm here?" Nia glanced at him. "Do you want me to?" "No." "Then I won't." She walked past him. "Nai." She stopped. "What?" He hesitated. "Forget it." She continued walking. For the next several days, something strange happened. Tae-won stopped trying to make her quit. He was still rude, still impatient, still capable of making the entire house uncomfortable simply by walking into her room. But he stopped deliberately creating problems for her. Nia noticed. She didn't mention it. Then one evening, she found him sitting alone in the dining room. His dinner was untouched. "You're not eating?" He looked up. "Why do you care?" "I don't." Then keep walking." She picked up a plate. "Fine." She turned. "Wait." She stopped. He looked at the food. "My mother used to make this." Nia looked at the plate. "Then eat it." "I don't want it." "You just said your mother made it." "I know." "So?" He stared at her. "You always have an answer." "No. You just ask questions you don't like the answers to." For a moment, he almost smiled. Almost. Then his expression hardened again. "Leave." Nia nodded. "Good night." That night, Tae-won ate the food. The following morning, he asked Mrs. Han who had prepared it. When she told him Nia had, he said nothing. But he finished the entire plate. The change was small, almost invisible, but it was there. Then came the night everything went wrong. Nia had finished cleaning the kitchen and was carrying a basket of folded towels toward the laundry room when she heard Tae-won's friends arriving. Their laughter echoed through the mansion. She kept walking. One of them called out, Hey, maid. Nia stopped. She turned. A young man was sitting on the staircase beside Tae-won. Come here. Nia looked at Tae-won. He didn't say anything. She walked over. What do you need? The man smiled. Nothing. I just wanted to see if the new one was as stubborn as everyone says. Tae-won frowned. Leave her alone. His friend laughed. Since when do you defend the maids? I said leave her alone. Nia looked at him. Tae-won noticed. Go. She nodded. As she walked away, she heard his friend say, You're changing. Tae-won answered quietly. No, you are. No. Then why did you defend her? Silence. Nia kept walking. She didn't hear the answer. But she knew something was happening. And she was right. Because the next week, Tae-won started doing things he had never done before. He carried his own glass to the kitchen. He stopped ringing the service bell for unnecessary reasons. He began thanking Nia occasionally. Once, when she was carrying a heavy box, he took it from her without saying anything. She stared at him. What? You're carrying too much. I can manage. I know. He took the box anyway. Nia followed him. Thank you. He shrugged. Don't make it a big deal. She smiled. That smile stayed in his mind for the rest of the day, and that frightened him, because he realized he was beginning to care what she thought of him. Then his father noticed. Min-jun stood in the doorway one morning and watched his son clear his own breakfast plate. You're learning. Tae-won looked at him. Don't start. I didn't say anything. You were about to. Min-jun smiled slightly. You've been different lately. I haven't. You have. Tae-won stood. I'm going to work. You're not going. He stopped. What? You're staying here today. Why? Because you have something to learn. I have meetings. I canceled them. Tae-won's face hardened. You can't control everything I do. No. His father looked at him. But I can control what happens in this house. Tae-won walked away. That afternoon, Min-jun called him into the study. You're going to work with the staff. Tae-won stared at him. Excuse me? You heard me. I'm not a servant. No. Min-jun's voice was calm. But you've spent years treating servants as though they are beneath you? Tae-won clenched his jaw. This is about Nia. This is about you. 8. I don't need a lesson. You do. Tae-won laughed bitterly. You think making me wash dishes is going to change me? No. Min-jun looked directly at him. I think consequences might. Tae-won walked out. He slammed the door behind him. The punishment began the following morning. He cleaned. He cooked. He carried laundry. He served meals. And every time he complained, his father added another task. Nia tried not to laugh. She failed. Tae-won glared at her. You think this is funny? A little. You're enjoying this. Maybe. He dropped a basket of towels onto the table. Then help me. You're the one who needs the lesson. He stared at her. You're impossible. And you said that before. And I was right. For the first time, they both smiled. But the peace didn't last. Because Tae-won's old friends began mocking him. One evening, one of them sent him a photograph of him carrying laundry. The message underneath said, Look at you. The rich prince finally became a servant. Tae-won stared at the screen. Then another message appeared. Your father is humiliating you because of that maid. His face changed. Nia walked into the room. You okay? He locked the phone. Fine. You don't look fine. I said I'm fine. She stepped closer. Tae-won. What? You don't have to pretend with me. He looked at her. Everyone leaves. Sir. The words came out before he could stop them. Nia went still. What? He looked away. My mother left. His voice cracked. Then everyone else followed. Nia said nothing. I learned something. End. What? If you make people leave first, they can't leave you unexpectedly. Nia's eyes softened. That isn't strength. He looked at her. What is it? Fear. He stared at her. She continued. You're afraid people will leave, so you hurt them before they get the chance. He looked away. Maybe. Nia stepped closer. But you don't have to keep doing it. He swallowed. You don't know how. Then learn. That night, Tae-won stood in front of his mother's photograph for almost an hour. For the first time in years, he cried. And nobody saw him. Except Nia. She stood outside the doorway. She didn't enter. Ender. She didn't interrupt. She simply walked away. She thought that perhaps the worst was finally behind them. She was wrong. Because the following afternoon, Taewon's friends came to the mansion again. And this time, they brought something that would destroy everything Tae-won had started becoming. One of them looked at Nia and smiled. "You're still here?" Nia ignored him. He stepped in front of her. "I heard you're the reason Tae-won has become soft. Move." He laughed. "Tae-won isn't here to protect you today." Nia looked at him. "I don't need him to." The man's smile disappeared. And that was the moment he decided to make sure she regretted saying it. The next morning, Tae-won found Nia in the kitchen before sunrise. She was preparing breakfast for the household. He leaned against the doorway. "You're still here." Nia didn't turn around. "You already asked me that yesterday. And you're still annoying." "Good morning to you too." He walked into the kitchen. "Did you sleep?" She paused. "Why?" "You look tired." "I am." "Then quit." Nia finally looked at him. "You really want me gone that badly?" He hesitated. For once, he didn't have an immediate answer. "Yes," he said eventually. It sounded less convincing than he wanted. Nia turned back to the stove. "Then stop giving me reasons to stay." He frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means if you want me gone, you can make my job impossible." "I've been doing that." "No." She looked at him. "You've been trying to make me hate you." His expression changed. "And why would I do that?" "Because if I hate you, leaving becomes easier." He stared at her. She turned back to the food. "You don't need to explain yourself to me, Tae-won." He walked away without answering. But her words followed him for the rest of the day. For the first time, he wondered whether she had seen through him. That afternoon, his friends came to the mansion. They were loud, careless, and used to getting whatever they wanted. One of them spotted Nia carrying drinks across the living room. "That's the new maid?" Tae-won nodded. "She hasn't quit yet." His friend laughed. "How much longer?" Nia ignored them. She placed the drinks on the table. One of the men deliberately reached for a glass and knocked it over. It spilled across Nia's uniform. "Oops." The others laughed. Nia looked down at herself. Then she looked at him. "I'm sorry," the man said, smiling. My hand slipped. Tae-won watched her. He expected her to clean it silently. Instead, she picked up the empty glass. "You should be more careful." The man's smile disappeared. "What?" "You said your hand slipped." She handed him a towel. "So dry it." The room went silent. His friends looked at Tae-won. Tae-won almost smiled. "Do what she said." The man stared at him. "You're serious?" "Very." Nia looked at Tae-won. For the first time, there was something unfamiliar in her expression. Not gratitude. Surprise. Later that night, Tae-won found her in the kitchen. "You didn't have to defend me." "I wasn't defending you." "You were." I was correcting him. "Same thing." "No." She continued chopping vegetables. "I don't need you to defend me." "I know." "Then why did you?" Tae-won was quiet. "I don't know." "I don't know." Nia looked at him. That answer seemed to bother him more than any insult could have. 3 days later, everything changed. Tae-won's father, Kang Suk-jin, returned home unexpectedly. He walked into the mansion and immediately noticed something different. His son was in the kitchen, wearing an apron, holding a plate. Suk-jin stopped. "What are you doing?" Tae-won looked embarrassed. "Nothing." "You're cooking." "I said I'm doing nothing." Nia stood at the counter. He tried to cook. Tae-won glared at her. "Don't." Suk-jin looked between them. Then, unexpectedly, he smiled. It was the first genuine smile Nia had seen from him. "Perhaps my son is finally learning something." Tae-won rolled his eyes. "Don't start." Suk-jin's smile disappeared. "I came home because I received another complaint." Tae-won's face hardened. "From whom?" "Your university?" "I handled it." "No." "You didn't." Suk-jin stepped closer. "You have been using your family's name to frighten people for years." Tae-won said nothing. "And every time someone leaves this house because of you, you tell yourself they were weak." His voice lowered. "But you are the one who is weak." Tae-won's jaw tightened. "Don't talk to me like that. Then stop behaving like a child." Suk-jin walked away. Tae-won stood frozen. Nia quietly returned to her work. That evening, she found him sitting in front of his mother's photograph. He didn't notice her at first. His eyes were red. She stopped at the doorway. "I can leave." He wiped his face quickly. "I wasn't crying." "I didn't say you were." "Then go." She didn't. Instead, she placed a cup of tea beside him. "My mother drinks this when she's upset." He looked at the cup. "Why are you telling me?" "Because sometimes people don't need advice." She sat in the chair opposite him. "They just need someone to sit there." He stared at her. You're strange. So I've been told. A faint smile appeared on his face, then disappeared. I hate him. Your father? Yes. Because he wasn't there? Tae-won looked at his mother's photograph. Because he could have been. Nia didn't answer. I spent years trying to make him notice me. His voice cracked. Nothing worked. You don't have to punish everyone else because he failed you. He looked at her. You think that's what I'm doing? I think you're hurting. That doesn't make me cruel? No. She held his gaze. It explains it. It doesn't excuse it. He looked away. Those words stayed with him. For the next week, Tae-won changed in small ways. He stopped deliberately making Nia's work harder. He began carrying his own dishes. He apologized once when he spoke harshly to Mrs. Han. He even stopped his friends from insulting Nia. But Nia didn't trust the change yet. She had seen people behave well for a few days before returning to who they really were. Then came the night that destroyed everything. Taywan had invited several friends over again. His father was away. The mansion was unusually quiet. Nia was cleaning the hallway outside the kitchen when she heard laughter behind her. She turned. One of Taewan's friends was standing near the kitchen entrance. Hey, Maid. Nia ignored him. I'm talking to you. She continued walking. He stepped in front of her. Move. He laughed. Why are you acting important now? Tae-won appeared behind him. Leave her alone. His friend looked surprised. What's wrong with you? I said leave her alone. The man laughed. Since when do you care? Tae-won's expression hardened. Since now. His friend shook his head. You've changed. Maybe. Tae-won walked toward Nia. Go upstairs. She nodded. As she turned, she heard the friend mutter something insulting. Tae-won grabbed his arm. Get out. The man stared at him. You're throwing me out because of her? Yes. He released him. Get out. Nia watched from the staircase. Something inside her softened. But she didn't know that the next morning, everything would collapse. Tae-won had spent the night angry. Not at Nia. At himself. At his friends. At his father. At the years he had wasted. And when he woke the next morning, he made a decision. He was going to apologize to Nia. He found her in the kitchen. Nia. She turned. What? I need to tell you something. She waited. I've been. A loud crash came from the hallway. Someone had dropped a container. Taywan stepped backward. His shoe caught the edge of a small bottle. He looked down. Oil. It had spilled across the marble floor. Nia didn't see it. She stepped forward. Nia, wait. Her foot landed directly on the oil. She slipped. Her body twisted violently. She hit the floor. Tae-won's face went white. Nia. He rushed toward her. She grabbed her ankle, tears immediately filling her eyes. I can't. Don't move. I can't feel my foot. Tae-won dropped beside her. For the first time since she had entered the mansion, there was no arrogance in his face, only terror. Nia, look at me. She looked at him through tears. Call an ambulance. I will. His hands shook as he reached for his phone. Then he noticed the bottle. It hadn't fallen by accident. Someone had placed it there. His expression changed, because he suddenly remembered what he had said to himself the night before. I'm going to make everything right. And now Nia was lying injured on the floor because of something he had failed to prevent. When Suk-jin arrived at the hospital and saw his son sitting outside the emergency room with blood on his sleeve, he knew something terrible had happened. What did you do? Tae-won looked up. His voice broke. I don't know. Suk-in stared at him. You don't know? Tae-won shook his head. I was there. A pause. I was supposed to protect her. His father looked through the hospital doors, then back at his son. You finally understand. Tae-won looked confused. Understand what? Suk-jin's voice was cold. What it means when someone else pays for your choices. The doctor came out. Are you family? Tae-won stood immediately. Yes. The doctor looked at him. She has a fractured ankle. She'll need surgery and several weeks of recovery. Tae-won's eyes closed. Suk-jin watched him. Then he said the words that would change Tae-won's life completely. You're going to take care of her. Tae-won opened his eyes. What? You heard me. I don't know how. Exactly. Suk-jin stepped closer. You've spent years treating the people who work in this house as if their lives mean less than yours. He pointed toward the hospital room. Now you're going to learn what their lives actually cost. Tae-won swallowed. And if I refuse? His father looked at him with disappointment. Then you will prove that everything I've been afraid of about you is true. Tae-won looked toward Nia's room. For the first time, He wasn't thinking about his pride. He was thinking about the woman who had stayed when everyone else had left. And he realized he might have finally pushed away the one person he had never wanted to lose. Taywan stood outside the hospital room for almost a full minute before he finally opened the door. Nia was awake. Her ankle was elevated, wrapped tightly in a cast. Her face looked exhausted, but when she saw him, she did not look surprised. "You came," he swallowed. "Of course I came." She looked away. "You don't have to." "I know." He stepped inside and pulled the chair closer to her bed. For several seconds, neither spoke. Then Tae-won sat down. "I need to tell you something." Nia looked at him. "I'm listening." He lowered his eyes. "I did it." Her expression changed. "I know." "No." His voice cracked slightly. "I mean, I did it deliberately." The room became completely silent. "I put the oil there," he continued. "I knew you would walk through that corridor. I wanted you to fall. I wanted you to get hurt badly enough that you would finally leave." Nia stared at him. "You could have killed me." "I know." "You could have killed my baby." His face went pale. "I know." For the first time since entering the room, Nia saw something she had never seen in him before. Fear. Not fear of his father. Not fear of losing money. Fear of himself. "I don't know what happened to me," he whispered. Nia's eyes filled with tears. "You know exactly what happened to you, Tae-won. You were hurting, so you decided everyone else deserved to hurt too." He looked down. "I'm sorry. That doesn't fix it." "I know. You don't get to apologize and expect me to forget." "I don't." He looked up. "I don't want you to forget." A knock came at the door. Min Yoon entered. His expression was colder than Nia had ever seen it. "Tae-won." Tae-won stood. "Yes, father. Come with me." Tae-won followed him into the hallway. Min Yoon closed the door behind them. "I heard your confession." Tae-won said nothing. "You deliberately injured a woman who works for this family." "Yes." "You endangered her life." "Yes." "You endangered her child." Tae-won closed his eyes. "Yes." Min Yoon stared at him. "I spent years protecting you from consequences because I thought you were grieving." Tae-won looked up. "I was." "I know." Min Yoon's voice softened for only a second. "But grief does not give you permission to become cruel." Tae-won looked down. "I know." "No more car." "Oh." Tae-won's head snapped up. "No, father. No more credit cards, no parties, no friends living off my money, no privileges." "You can't be serious." "I am." Min Yoon stepped closer. "You will work in this house." Tae-won stared at him. "What?" "You heard me. I don't know how to do any of that." "Then learn." "For how long?" "Until you understand what you did." Tae-won laughed bitterly. "So this is punishment?" "Yes." Min Yoon paused. "And you will personally assist Nia until she can walk without help." Tae-won's expression changed. "You want me to take care of her?" "I want you to learn what it means to be responsible for someone you hurt." The next morning, Tae-won entered the kitchen before sunrise. Mrs. Han stared at him. "What are you doing?" "My father said I work here now." She almost smiled. "Then start by washing those dishes." He looked at the mountain of dishes. "You're joking." "No," he said. "Fine." His first attempt was terrible. He broke 2 plates, burned the breakfast, spilled soup across the counter. Mrs. Han watched him struggle. "You know," she said, "Nia never complained this much." "I'm not complaining." "You've complained 7 times. Tae-won stopped. "Have I?" "Yes." He looked at the mess, then quietly started cleaning it. For the first time, he understood what Nia had been doing every day. Not because someone had told him, because his own hands were tired. His back hurt. His pride hurt even more. And nobody cared. That was the point. 3 days later, he carried Nia's breakfast into her room. She looked at the tray. "You made this?" "Yes." She took 1 bite. Her eyebrows lifted. "This is actually edible." He almost smiled. "Thank you." "Don't get excited." He sat down. For a moment, neither spoke. Then he said, "My mother used to make breakfast for me." Nia looked at him. "I don't remember the last meal she made." His voice became quieter. "I think that's why I hated seeing people doing things for me." "Why?" "Because every time someone cared for me, I remembered that she was gone." Nia looked at him carefully. "That explains your pain." He nodded. "But it doesn't excuse what you did." "I know." She smiled faintly. "Good." Weeks passed. Taywan changed slowly. He stopped humiliating the staff. He began helping Mrs. Han without being ordered. He apologized to the two friends he had once used to impress. And one evening, he stood in front of his mother's photograph. "I've been angry at you for leaving," he whispered. His eyes filled. "But you didn't leave me." A tear rolled down his cheek. "I just didn't know where to put the pain." Behind him, Min-jun stood silently. For the first time in years, father and son stood in the same room without fighting. "I should have been there," Min-jun said. Tae-won turned. "Yes." Min-jun nodded. "You're right." That single admission broke something open between them. Tae-won walked toward his father. Neither knew exactly how to fix 10 years of silence, so Min-jun simply hugged him, and Tae-won cried. Not like a spoiled son, not like a powerful heir, like a boy who had been waiting 14 years for his father to finally come home. Months later, Nia returned to work without her cast. She walked into the kitchen and stopped. Tae-won was cooking. She stared. "You're cooking?" He turned. "Don't look so shocked. You nearly burned the kitchen the first week." "I've improved." She tasted the sauce. "Barely." He laughed. It was the first time she had heard him laugh without cruelty behind it. Min-jun entered the kitchen. "I have an announcement." Nia and Tae-won looked at him. "I want Nia to remain with the family." Nia smiled. "I was planning to." Min-jun nodded. "And not as a maid." She frowned. "What do you mean?" "I've seen what you did for this family." He looked at Tae-won. "You didn't just survive him. You helped him become someone better." Nia shook her head. "He did the work." Tae-won looked at her. "No." He smiled. "You showed me where to start." The mansion that had once felt cold slowly became different. Not because the walls changed, because the people inside them did. Tae-won never forgot what he had done to Nia. He never asked her to. And Nia never pretended his apology erased the past. But forgiveness became possible because accountability came first. One evening, Tae-won stood beside Nia in the garden. "You know," he said, "you were the first person who refused to leave." She smiled. "You gave me plenty of reasons." "I know, and you almost succeeded." He looked at her. "But you didn't leave." "No." "Why?" Nia thought for a moment. "Because I knew there was still a person underneath all that anger." Tae-won looked down. "Did you know I would change?" "No." She smiled. "I just knew you could." He nodded. Across the garden, Min-jun watched them. For the first time in years, the mansion did not feel like a place where people were merely surviving. It felt like home. And Tae-won finally understood something his wealth had never taught him. People did not stay because you had power over them. They stayed because you gave them a reason to believe they mattered. Nia had entered the Kang estate needing a job. She left something far more valuable behind. She taught a broken family how to become one again. And sometimes, the person you try hardest to drive away is the person who shows you how to find your way home. If this story touched you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Afro-Korean Folktales for more emotional stories of love, family, redemption, and second chances. And tell us in the comments, would you have forgiven Tae-won after everything he did to Nia? Your answer might be very different from someone else's. We'll see you in the next story.